One of my favorite consoles to collect for is the Xbox 360. I think it's probably Xbox's greatest console. I think the controller is excellent. I think the library was fantastic. Xbox Live Arcade was an pox upon humanity, and it was just a really fun console to play. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Over the course of years, Xbox released so many games. Alexa, how many games were released for the Xbox 360 in the United States?
About 2,155 Xbox
Holy shit.
games.
Over 2,000 games were released for the Xbox 360. So for me to tell you that there are 10 necessary games that you should own for this console is the ultimate level of hubris on my behalf. But we're going to try. I'm going to give you 10 games that I think are necessary, that I think every console should have in their collection. We're starting right now.
Wakey, wakey, Wayne. Oh, what's up?
All right, starting at the top, and I think the Arkham games are the blueprint for what great superhero video games really are. We had good ones before that, but they didn't become great until the Arkham franchise. And the one on the Xbox 360 I think everyone needs to own is not Arkham Origins. I know you thought I was going to say that, but it is actually Arkham City. I think Arkham City is the magnum opus of the Arkham universe. While Origins is my favorite because I like seeing kind of the history of the characters, Arkham City is an undeniable masterpiece. The massive world to go through, the introduction of so many different characters, the realization of the Arkhamverse that was introduced in Arkham Asylum to make it more threatening, more aggressive, more terrifying is incredible, because Arkham Asylum did some heavy lifting in that regard, but Arkham City really set it over the edge. An amazing cast of characters, the ability to play as both Batman and Catwoman, a huge city to explore, mysteries around every corner, lots of things to explore, find, and not to mention, one of the best looking video games on the Xbox 360 with one of the strongest combat mechanics, like an absolutely incredible fighting mechanic in this game. It is magnificent. One of the best video games legit ever made. Absolutely love it, and it definitely a necessary game for anyone to own on the Xbox 360.
Heads or tails, kitty cat? This station is mine.
Three games in one. That's right. You're getting the Mass Effect trilogy here, because as much as I would like to just say, yeah, play Mass Effect 2, play Mass Effect 3, play Mass Effect, you need the whole story. You need the whole thing. And EA and BioWare were nice enough to put out the trilogy in one collection on the Xbox 360, and it's dirt flippin' cheap. It is not an expensive collection at all. I am excited that this exists. It's a really awesome collection of games. 3 of the single greatest RPGs ever made. Like, if you are looking for an RPG that isn't just a kind of like bog standard fantasy RPG, this is the one you need to go with, because they're really, really excellent sci-fi RPGs that have some not RPG based combat. Like, there's some RPG elements to it, but it's not like you're pressing a button and then waiting for an attack to happen. You actually have to take cover and use strategy as you move around the board and stuff like that. It's a really fun game. The story of Commander Shepard and all of her supporting cast, or his, you can be male or female Shepard, whichever one you want, is a fascinating story and just a wonderful, amazing collection of games. I like Andromeda 2, which released on the Xbox Series or the Xbox One, but the original 3 are the best. Like, play those, you're gonna love them.
The Reapers are still out there. They're coming. And I'm gonna find some way to stop them.
I'm not sure I can do this, just being ahead.
But there's a lot of cool things about being ahead.
While I'm not a big fan of the phrase guilty pleasure, Lollipop Chainsaw is absolutely a guilty pleasure. It is an exploitation film in video game format, and I love it. It is magnificent. This is a game that was written by James Gunn, the guy behind Guardians of the Galaxy and the recent Superman movie, and it really leans into where James got his start as a trauma director, trauma films director. He is all about the gross, all about the just absurdist humor and kind of the ridiculousness happening, and it is here in spades in Lollipop Chainsaw. It is a standard action game for the Xbox 360 where you're playing as a cheerleader and you have to go through and fight hordes of zombies. It's a ridiculous concept, it's a ridiculous game, but there's just something inherently charming and fun about it. I love the humor, I love the combat. I really think it's one of those games that We got a recent release on modern consoles, but this is one of those games that just feels such at home on the 360 PS3 generation because, I mean, that's where it was meant to be. It feels like a loving throwback to that time, and I just think it's fantastic.
You undead a-holes are a disgrace to the San Romero football uniform!
They must be jamming our signal from somewhere. We're gonna have to keep going it solo for now. Let's move.
I love a good hack and slash, and much like my suggestion for Arkham City, I love superheroes. So Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 is kind of a no-brainer here. If you can find the Gold Edition, do it, because the DLC is all on disc, and it's well worth the price. But if you can't, the game is still fun. You're just not going to be able to get all the extra characters. So this is essentially what if D&D Heroes featured Marvel superheroes instead, and it works brilliantly well. You take control of 4 characters at a time. As you go through the game, you are going to be fighting various mooks, various mobs, various waves of enemies. You're going to gain experience and health and all kinds of stuff like that. Your different power abilities and things like that. And as you go, you're going to level up. It's much like an action RPG in that regard. You're going to... Well, it's because it is an action RPG. Thanks, Jay. Great job. It's something, though, where as you go, you're going to find different abilities, and you're going to be able to kind of tailor those characters to how you see fit and what works best for you. Some of the things I really like about it are the fact that it not only kind of allows you to create these dream teams of superheroes, it also lets you really work with them and gain bonuses based on who is in your team. So, like, if you want to run an all-X-Men squad, you're going to get a bonus for it being an all-X-Men squad. I just think it's really a fascinating game, and I love the mix of both heroes and villains in this because it adds for some fun dynamics in-game, some good dialogue options and things like that. It's just... They're a wonderful franchise of games. Both the X-Men Origins and the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games are fantastic, and just absolutely love this on the 360. And like I said, if you can find the gold one, it's expensive, but it's worth it. Huge thanks to Metal Jesus Rocks for suggesting this in one of his Xbox 360 videos. This is Need for Speed The Run. Before I get into talking about the game, if you pick this up, a word of advice, make sure that your internet connection is turned off on your 360 when you boot it up, because otherwise the game won't launch because it's looking for the EA service, which no longer exists. So make sure your internet is off, and then you'll be able to hop in game and be able to play one of the single most creative Need for Speed titles ever. Now, I love the Need for Speed franchise. I think it's a fantastic racing series, but one of the things that it does, I think, to its detriment is that it relies too heavily on formulas that it just kind of sticks to, like Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, just kind of the general, if you think of it, you know what a Need for Speed game is. But the Run does things very differently because this is a story-based game where you are basically competing the Cannonball Run in reverse. You're going from California to New York, and it is legitimately one of the most fun experiences I have ever had playing a racing game. The driving is quality, the graphics look fantastic, the sense of speed is through the roof. It is legitimately one of my favorite racing games ever made, and something that is unbelievably creative. And I wish we had gotten more of this. I wish we had gotten more versions of the Run down the road, but they stuck with what they know. They stuck with what makes them money, and they stuck with the Hot Pursuit theme, and I miss this one. I wish it came back. It's fantastic, though. Definitely check it out on the 360 if you haven't done so.
Where the hell are all these guys coming from?
The 360 and the PS3 and the Wii were the years of accessories. Random ass accessories for your consoles that were just out there, wackadoo, crazy. And not a lot of them made sense, but the ones for Rock Band absolutely did. I love the Rock Band universe. I love Rock Band 2. I think this might be one of my favorite video games ever made just because it's such a unique experience. Like, this is not something where you get this every day. Like, at the time we did, because they were everywhere. Like, you had Guitar Hero, you had Rock Band, you had Rocksmith, you had DJ Hero, like all these games with all these crazy peripherals for rhythm-based music games, but Rock Band to me was the best, and I loved Rock Band 2 when it released. I loved that you were able to import your songs from Rock Band 1. I loved that you were able to have a massive DLC catalog of songs online. And it's just a solid game that's super fun to play. Like, what a great experience to be able to live out your dreams as a kid of being a rock and roll star and playing all these different songs in front of, while they are virtual crowds, and getting rated for it. I absolutely love this franchise, and I think Rock Band 2 is one of the most necessary games ever made for the 360. Like, it just screams the Xbox 360 generation. It's just so much fun, and I don't know anyone that hates it. Like, anyone that sits down at Rock Band has a good time. It's a blast. I went back and forth on which sports game to include that's necessary for the 360. I wanted to put Fight Night Round 3 on here, but since I already have another game I worked on, I'm not gonna do that. That'll be in the next one that's necessary for Xbox 360 purchases. So instead, we're talking about Top Spin 2. I love the Top Spin franchise. I think this is one of the greatest tennis games ever made. Like, it's up there with 2K Tennis on the Dreamcast as far as fun goes. Like, I think this is one of the most solid sports games that you can have on the Xbox 360 that wasn't made by my former company. It's a really fun experience as far as tennis goes. It's a tennis sim, so it's a little bit more realistic than something like Mario Tennis or anything like that, or Outlaw Tennis. Was there an Outlaw Tennis? I know there was a volleyball and a golf. There probably wasn't an Outlaw Tennis, and I'm making things up. But it's a really solid game, though. It's one that, to me, really encapsulates the sport, but still makes it a fun video game experience. And I think that's really what you're looking for when you're trying to get a sports game on a console. And this one just happens to be one of the best. The franchise has continued. It's not as consistent as it used to be, but it's still something that exists. So if you're looking to continue playing the Top Spin games, you can, but you can probably stop at Top Spin 2 because this is the best of the bunch. There were no shortage of incredible licensed games, and honestly, no shortage of incredible Transformers games on the Xbox 360. The War or Fall of Cybertron games are also fantastic, but I think Transformers Devastation puts itself just a nudge ahead of those games by being something that is so uniquely true to the G1 Transformers universe. It is a ridiculously simple game to understand. It's basically an arena combat game. So you're playing as an Autobot, and as you go through the different levels, you're going to kind of be locked into a region where you have to fight a bunch of Decepticons. It's really simple. It's really easy to understand. It's a very basic game in that regard. But what makes the game great is the unbelievable sense of speed in the title. Like, it feels frantic. It feels fast. You feel like you're in a fight for your life, which I think is done really well. The look of the game is spectacular with the cell shading and just the true kind of like adoration of those G1 designs for all these characters. And then you have amazing characterization and use of these characters that just feels true to their original releases. The gameplay is not complex, but the game is fantastic. This just kind of proves that you don't need to have this like ultra intensive, steep learning curve for a game. Anyone can jump in and play Devastation and have a great time.
Reporting for duty, sir!
Drop the sir shit, kid. We're not that polite out here.
I love the Gears of War franchise, and it took me a long time to get here. I didn't play these for ages. I don't think I played these, honestly, until probably 2016 or 2017. And I couldn't believe what I'd been missing. Like, I had briefly played the original Gears of War when I worked at EA, but I had never gone back to the franchise. And I ended up picking up Gears of War 2, and Gears of War 3 at one of our local shops here in Kalamazoo for nothing, like $2 a piece. And I just loved Gears of War 2. The character of Marcus Phoenix is fantastic, but that wouldn't matter if the gameplay wasn't fun. And as someone who doesn't really get into shooters, I really appreciated this one. So I like a good third-person shooter. I think that is a really kind of creative way to go about basically running a shooter game, because so often you are needing that kind of first-person immersion. But you care so much about the characters in the Gears of War universe that being able to see Marcus on screen is a really big thing. The gameplay is spectacular. The different cover fire and ability to kind of move around the map is amazing. The enemies are creative. The weapons are incredible. The weapons are incredible. It's just a wonderful game. And I think it's a perfect addition for any 360 collector to have on their shelves. It's just, most of you already own it too. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is one that I think is kind of ubiquitous with the system, so you probably already have it, but if you don't, Pick it up. It's not expensive, and it's worth every cent. When I worked at EA, we got a call from DICE, and they basically told us that they needed some QA support for Mirror's Edge, and I jumped at the opportunity. I didn't have a ton going on at the time. I was working on early milestone for a project, and this was going to be able to fill up a few weeks, like probably about 4 weeks of testing, and I was able to put together a really good team, and we were able to help out and work on one of the most creative games on the Xbox 360, Mirror's Edge. I loved this project. I loved this game. I love the character of Faith. I love the gameplay and the unique kind of just like creativity that went into making this game. For something that could have really fallen flat on its face, and what could have been a great idea on paper but a terrible execution, turned into literally one of the most signature Xbox 360 experiences I think there are. A first-person game where you don't shoot, you're just running and using your parkour abilities to disarm and eliminate enemies and to traverse this amazing environment. The look is liminal, but it's beautiful. The ability to kind of like observe and see where you need to go by having things highlighted in red, it was really clever. The storyline is very, very solid. It's just one of those games that, to me, is one of those just perfect experiences and encapsulates my time working in video games. Like, this was towards the end of my career, and it was something that I valued, I loved, and I still appreciate to this day. And I try to suggest it to anyone that's never played it, because I think for as cheap as it is and as incredible as it is, because there's really nothing else like it out there, this is a game that everyone should own.
Xbox 360, what can I say? One of my all-time favorite consoles. Something that I absolutely love. There was so many incredible games released for it. This is just a sampling of 10 of them that I think are fun, that I think everyone should play, and that everyone should own. Let me know in the comments down below, what games do you feel are necessary to own on the Xbox 360? I'm sure there's ones that I didn't talk about here. Again, 2,000 games in the library. I'm going to overlook a few. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up. The engagement helps the channel out a ton. Consider subscribing if you're new here. And remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.